Hello, my name is John Sims with the Avaya Serviceability Engineering Team. This video is about how to deploy a product licensing and delivery system license file on the Avaya B5800 branch gateway in Release 6.1. Before we get started with the configuration aspects, let's first cover a few notables. B5800 is licensed exclusively through PLDS, and in Release 6.1, a unique license file is created for each individual B5800 branch gateway, and it's based off the host ID of the system. The B5800 host ID is based on the feature key serial number printed on the B5800 secure digital card. Installation of the individual PLDS XML license file can be done through Avaya's Network Manager or installed remotely using the Manager client, which is what I'll show today in this video. And if a license file is missing or there's licensing errors of any kind, the standard PLDS 30-day grace period applies. Here's a look at the B5800 branch gateway secure digital card, and you see the feature key serial number circled at the bottom. That acts as a MAC address or host ID on the system, so the WebLM license file can be authenticated against this host ID internally on the B5800 system. Here's a quick look at the licensing available for the B5800 system, and I want to make two quick support notes. First, the Avaya branch gateway system software is required for the B5800 to be operational. And second, maximum SIP trunk sessions are very important because the Session Manager line to connect the B5800 to Session Manager is in fact a customized SIP trunk. So in order to become operational with Session Manager, you will need SIP trunk session licensing. So let's get started by opening up a configuration, and you'll see I select my core unit, and then I'll have to supply my username and password for this administrator service account, and I'm letting this pull up in real time. And I want to explain something. What happens is the configuration's pulled down from the B5800 and then validated in the Manager client. So the first thing it'll do is bring us to a known licensing error, and that's by design. See that if you hover over it, it'll give you the error. I'll now pull the panel over so you can see this error more clearly, and it's complaining that we don't have the proper amount of licensing provisioned for the entry we have there for voicemail ports. If I pull up from the bottom of the screen the error list, you'll see that we also have a red error on the PLDS. It's in error mode that we do not have a PLDS license installed on the system. And of course, that's what we're going to cover today in this video. So that's just to show you that there is license error checking in the Manager client. And what we'll do now is click on the PLDS license part of the tree, and we see that we're in license error mode with 30 days remaining, and there's no licensing information to be found. So let's head to the System tab. Under the System tab, I want to point out one quick thing. As I mentioned in the earlier slides, the notables, that we can harvest up the FK number, the feature key or host ID, from the Manager client, and it's on the System tab, and it's listed in its own section there, host ID. So that's a way, if we ever need to provide that host ID with PLDS to get a license file created, that's how we would do that, as long as that SD card is installed in the system. So from here, we'll right click, and we can either delete a license, but in this case we need to send one up. So we'll click Send to send a license file up to the B5800. I'll scroll down in my file system and find that long named weblm.xml file, and we'll select that. And I'm going to let this run now in real time on purpose, because I don't want you to give up on the fact that it is sending the license file up to the B5800, up to the secure digital card. So you see I'm selecting different screens. I'm just letting it get focused because it will pop a new screen. There we go. And it sends it up to the file. Sometimes it gets lost, comes back into focus, and it sent that PLDS file, that WebLM file, up to the B58 unit. But as you see here, I'm pointing out we still see no active licensing, and there's no save option. And that's because the B5800 Manager client is not aware of that real-time change made to this secure digital card file system. So under Advanced, we'll go to the embedded file system where the license file exists now, and we'll again be asked to log in. And so we'll supply the proper credentials again and log into the system. And here under the System Secure Digital Card, we'll click into the file system, under System, Primary, and then we'll scroll down and look for a valid license file. And if we scroll down far enough into the P section, we will see the PLDS keys.xml file. So that is a valid license file now on the system. It's been converted from the WebLM-based file to a PLDS temp file, which I'll cover later in the video, into a PLDS keys file. So now when we head back to the configuration, and you'll see that I have to log in again. Each time you shift or switch between embedded file management to configuration, you have to re-log in and re-authenticate. So we pull the configuration into Manager Client yet again, and this time it'll validate, it'll bring up what it needs to do on its error checking, and then if we head to PLDS license, we see a count of 7. We're in license normal mode in version 6, and you see the licenses that exist, including the ever so important system software license that I mentioned earlier, and the SIP trunk licensing as well, as you see near the bottom that I'll now highlight, is also there, and that's important for Session Manager line SIP trunks. So now we have a licensed B5800 system. I'm going to now show you how to delete and recover license. We can delete the file as well, as you see the delete option there, right from the PLDS tree in Manager. But first we'll head back under Advanced to Embedded File Management, and it will force us to log in again. Every time you go between configuration and file management or security, you'll need to supply login credentials, and it'll pull up the file system again on the SD card, and we'll head to Primary. We'll go down to the PLDS keys file again. So here I have highlighted the PLDS keys file, and we can download, well, I'll get out of the way on the side here so you see it better. Now we'll right click and do a download operation, and that means we can download this file right to our file system. So I'm going to have it download right into Manager, but we can scroll around or make a new folder. I'll have it download right to the Manager file system, and you see that it's downloading, as you see, from the primary folder to our IP Office Manager system, and then I'll select Close. And then right here in this file management, I can right click and select Delete if I chose to do so. But we will now go back under the configuration side and delete it from the configuration side. So in the configuration under PLDS license, we will now select the delete operation, as you see that I did. And I'll let this run in real time to give you a feeling for the time it may take. The reason I bring this up is I don't want you to give up on the operation. It takes a bit of time, and you'll see that after a few moments here, as I keep chatting away, you'll see that it will respond back and tell us that the delete operation is successful. So it's still thinking about it, and there we have it. PLDS license file deleted successfully. So again, just a word of warning, and why I let the video run real time on that is I want you to see there is a bit of a time delay to delete that file. Click OK, and we've now deleted the license file. But once again, you see that the status, the license status, has not yet been updated until we exit and pull a configuration again and let Manager pull in fresh licensing data once more. So let's dig a little deeper now into how the B5800 can process a PLDS keys file. As you see here under the primary folder on the SD card, I do not have the PLDS keys file. So I'll go to File, Upload File. And remember in the previous step we saved off the PLDS keys file. So we'll scroll down and find that PLDS keys.xml. Now that is a processed license file. So there's a trick here. A service notable. We have to change the file name to pldtemp.xml. It has to be sent up as PLDS temp to the embedded management file system on the SD card. Then that PLDS temp file is processed and turned into a PLDS keys.xml file. So, and if we scroll around, we will not see this process take place in real time. As you see, I'm searching for PLDS. You saw that we just uploaded it, yet it appears missing. Don't worry about that. We have to now close out and simply enter into the embedded file system again. The reason for this is you actually work on offline configs in the manager client. It pulls the configuration data into the client and presents itself. So you're not working on real-time system updates. Right now, if we scroll down as we've connected in again, we will see now a processed file. Remember, we sent it up as PLDS temp.xml. Now it is a processed file. It's a good license file now with the name PLDS keys.xml. So the last thing to cover is looking at the file itself. Let's click into a WebLM license file, and you see it's a big long name usually. So if you have to match this license file up with a host ID, otherwise known as a feature key of a B5800 system, click into the file. You'll usually pull the XML into a web browser. You can also pull it into Notepad or a editor tool. And you see here right at the top, you'll see the host ID. So if you ever need to match up long named WebLM file with a B5800 host ID or system, this is how you do it. Simply edit the file and look at the contents of the file. Also, if you want to see licensing, you can do that as well. The file is very human readable, as you see. You see all the provisioned licenses and their quantity counts. Thank you for your time today. We hope this information was useful. We welcome comments, questions, and feedback at mentor@avaya.com or on Twitter @AvayaMentor. Thank you for choosing Avaya.